What's up all? If you've watched any of my videos, you may have had an experience where you were like, for the love of God, please stop saying, okay, alright, right, okay, alright. Like, I would make a point and then say, right, like, you get it, right, okay? And my friend had pointed this out to me once before, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to work on that. I could notice it when I watch my videos. I'd be like, you're saying okay, you're saying alright. But in the moment, I wouldn't remember to. It's because I hadn't had it just really hammered into my mind how important it is to be very careful about that. I didn't know why it was so important. So I'm going to share the lesson that my friend gave me with you, so that hopefully by the end of this video you will also be better, more on track to doing less ums, less ahs, less okays, less alrights, or whatever your personal silly little thing that you say is. Now, I want to give this advice some credibility, because if I said, oh, my friend Kevin Spacey rang me up and told me this tip, everyone would be like, give me the tip, it's Kevin Spacey. But if I just say, my friend Carl told me, then it's like, who the fuck is Carl? Who the fuck's this Carl character? So let me just build up Carl's credibility. Carl is one of the smartest, most articulate, logical, reasoning, analytical people I've ever met in my entire life. I've known Carl since I was, well, maybe 13, I would say, so 17 years, and he's still right up there. Maybe top 2, top 3, I don't know, maybe at the top, but right up there. Smart guy. And Carl has this incredible ability to see the problem, understand exactly what's wrong, and know how to solve it. He's like a very good coach. He's not a professional coach, but he could be a very professional coach. And he is a pro at learning, okay? I said okay. Maybe I already said it before and you caught me. He's a pro at learning. He can figure out how to do things the right way. Maybe, Carl, if you could comment on in the comments, people can see your channel, because I can't remember what it is right now. So let's get into the tip, okay? So let's get into the tip. Sorry to keep you waiting. Carl messaged me today and said, I still watch your vids. Friendly minded, I keep working on removing the okay speech habit. $1 billion feedback. And alright. I feel it would increase your impact by magnitudes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the conversation and I'm going to explain all the little things that Carl says and interpret them and expand on them. This may be a kind of longer video, but I think this is some of the most excellent advice out there for removing ums and ahs and silly filler talk there is. So I think it's worth the investment to watch this video, even though it's a bit longer. Alright, I said we'll put huge focus on it in the next vid. And I said, because I really value Carl's advice, normally if someone else gave me advice, I'd be like, thanks man. But I said, any other advice? Okay, so... Okay. No man, you're naturally getting way better. Just shedding the ancient habitual shit is the only step I see. I have a theory that getting rid of the filler speech patterns creates something emergent that you won't know until you are free. There's 2 points there. One is ancient habitual shit. When you say alright, okay, whatever you say, that came from an earlier time in your life, when you simply learn to say it. It's just low skill level communication patterns. It's ancient habitual patterns. The second thing is he talks about this emergence. Emergence is when you combine a number of elements in a system and you can't predict what will come out of it. Just something comes out of it. Think of a termite hill. If you combine millions of termites, you wouldn't look at the termites and be like, oh, a crazy termite mound will come out of that. But it does. It emerges out. So he suggests that something emergent will come out of removing this incorrect speech pattern. You might think that just removing ums and ahs, alrights, okays, whatever, it just removes it. But according to Carl, it's a lot more than that. Something emergent will happen. There'll be more. You don't know what it is, but there'll be more benefit than you can imagine. So is another one, isn't it? He said, I can give you a musical analogy. A lot of people learn scales, and when they improvise, myself included, we rely on the scales, and it stunts creativity. You know, it's no good. A scale is like an order of notes, and all the notes in that scale, they go together, and you can play within that scale, and it just sounds good. And you just stay within the scale, okay? You stay within the scale, and it makes it easy, but it stunts creativity. It's a really common, hard thing to break out of. It's twofold anyway. Aside from the fact that the pattern sounds bad, not as good, just as saying okay, alright doesn't sound as good, you're stuck in that pattern. You're relying on that way of speaking. You're relying on that way of playing scales. You're relying on that way of speaking. That pattern has probably been there since you were in your teens. I've thought about speech a lot in the last couple of years. Okay. I mentioned while you were here, there are billions of possible speech patterns. There are billions of possible speech patterns. There are many, so he's saying there's many ways that you can speak. You don't have to speak in the way that you currently speak. If you feel that the way that you currently speak, and I'm very much talking to myself here as well as you, this is self-therapy in a way. If you're not happy with the way that you speak, or you feel it could be improved, there's many other ways to speak. There's many other ways to do better. There is billions of possible speech patterns, and you don't know the complete impact for sure. Best ditch your ancient ones. Meaning, again, we're coming back to that emergence. Get rid of those old ones. Your new way of speaking is going to come out, and it is possible. You have to really believe that it is possible to speak in a new, more articulate, or whatever you are imagining, more articulate, whatever better is for you. He says those old speech patterns were made when you were shit. Your brain shuts off when you... Okay. Something he says here is when you say alright, okay, your brain shuts off. It's just your mind being like, fuck thinking, let's just say this word again. Easy fix. Rather than make the point and drill the point home, you just say, oh, blah, 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 right? Blah, 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 right? He also says, things like that come from not trusting in the impact of what you said. That's an important one. Come from not trusting in the impact of what you said or you are saying. So you can just say, all right, yeah, no big deal, right? Okay, yeah, Still recording, just had to check that. And letting what you said just sink in. These are old thoughts, they're patterns from a past shitter self. Carl's pretty harsh with his feedback sometimes, but I like that. He said, let the sentence sink in. Let it hit. Let it stick on its own merit. If you're saying and ah and all these filler words, it's quite possible that it's because you're not trusting in what you're saying. You're not confident that you're making a very worthwhile point. Remember, self-therapy as well. Now that Carl's told me that, I've like I feel. Oh yeah, I must not believe completely in what I'm saying. If you want to erase your patterns and start again, yeah, if you were, just say you were to start learning to speak again. Remember he said that these old patterns are habitual old stuff from when you were young? If you were to erase your patterns and start again, you wouldn't do it that same way again, because your current self would consciously create good patterns. Like I said, there are billions of ways to talk, all with different impacts. So consciously construct the patterns you want. Consciously construct the patterns you want. Okay, he pointed out to a good speaker that we know. He said, think about this speaker, Pagan. If you want to watch someone just really calmly deliver a point with precision, accuracy, and certainty, and importance, go and watch a speaker called Pagan. He's my favorite guy. Favorite teacher of self-development and business success. So take a look at that. He said, obviously you know Eben is king at this. He says something and lets it simmer for ages. Okay. Whoops. Now, as for a step for doing this, you might have noticed that in this video I'm a bit It's because I'm overcompensating. I'm thinking very deliberately on making the point hit without saying okay, and I'm really taking a lot of control of my mind. I'm very in my head, focusing on what I'm doing. I'm not riffing. Normally I just riff. I go blah 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 blah. But that is unconscious communication. I had reached a level of communication that I could do unconsciously, and I was resting on that. But now I'm going out of my comfort zone, and I'm putting a lot of conscious thought into speaking this way. That's why it sounds a little bit like However, that is the advice. Sometimes it's good to try to overcompensate just to correct. Okay, this is a new point. Having zero filler, all those silly words, communicates extreme presence. I don't know if he goes into that anymore, but that's like an added benefit. It's one of those emergent things. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I didn't think of that. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Just that's just one of those emergent benefits. When you speak without the filler words, you'll be perceived as more present. It's not just that you're not saying and ah, and people think, oh, that's a person who doesn't say and ah. You come across more present. And that's it. So I hope that was very useful to you, and I hope that helps you improve your communication, eliminate filler words, and experience many other emergent benefits of achieving that. See you on the next video.